Hello and I welcome you all to the video where I'll be discussing the third type of quality which hinders the health and beauty of a person. So why beauty is related to health? Because if you are not healthy, you can't stay beautiful. Your natural glow comes from within. Okay, this is another very important topic which I'm going to discuss. How avarice, or you can say greed, is known to be the root cause of most diseases. So let's begin with what Guruji wrote. Continuous thoughts of stinginess or parsimony and collection of money or certain things, when hit our brains, it is natural that it becomes a habit. Spending less and collecting more can be regarded as greed. And when greediness strikes our subconscious mind, it really affects the health. Money truly is a thing which has to be used. Wise people say it a dirt of hands. The actual work of money is to make its use wisely. For instance, water is a drinkable substance. It can only be enjoyed by drinking it or using it. One who collects it unnecessarily, he puts his energy to waste and the water as well. The collected water after some days will become unfit for any use. It will become a source for the bad odor in the surroundings and the mosquitoes as well. The simple and natural rule of body and mind is that whatever it takes, it also releases that. In our mind, thoughts come and go. When thoughts of anger comes, the thoughts which leaves the brain are of another type. God has beautifully created our minds such that different types of thoughts come and go every moment. From this process, the minds become as soft as the river whose water flows from place to place. If only one type of thought consumes the mind and that thought is of lower category, of lower vibration, then it can create a havoc in a person's life. According to the universal law of attraction, if one type of thought collects in excess quantities in the brain, then that person will get afraid and become ill, or he might even die. A greedy person always thinks of money. He always worries about collecting money. This way, instead of releasing this dirt of hands, which is money, he tried to collect this dirt going against the nature's rule. As a result, it highly affects the subconscious mind. And we all know the subconscious mind is responsible for all the internal functions of the body like breathing, blood circulation, digestion, excretion, etc. All the daily life processes. Our conscious mind does not interfere in this task, but with subconscious mind, anything big change is possible. Any big change is only possible in seconds. Psychologists even have created the methods of mental treatment to cure the ailments of the body by just observing and understanding the complete coverage of subconscious mind on the body functions. Doing conscious accumulation of money, these type of thoughts put major impact on the subconscious mind, and it adopts this policy of accumulation, and as a result, the process of storing overpowers the process of releasing in the body. It immediately shows its effect on the stomach. It hinders the bowel movements and release less. Belly feels full. It tends to store the waste rather than releasing it, and thus resulting in constipation. During excretion, the muscles of intestines follow the command of their director. The director is no one but the subconscious mind, and the intestine tends to skimp in releasing what no longer serves. As a result, only the excess waste gets out of the body and the remaining sticks inside the walls of the intestines, and it rottens there and generates toxins. It has been found Out of 100%, 99% people are a victim of this problem, and that is constipation. They'll always complain about their bowels not getting clear. Everyone knows that this constipation is the mother of all diseases. The toxins in the intestines gets mixed with the bloodstream and becomes a root cause for uncountable ailments. Rotten waste produces toxic gases in the stomach. The high heart rate, headache, insomnia, and arthritis often happens due to this. And similarly, this hesitation to release policy is adopted by the pores of the body, and it hesitates to release the toxins in the form of sweat. It keeps on accumulating because the programming in the subconscious mind is of accumulation. So it won't release it. It will just follow the subconscious commands of just collecting inside the body. It won't release the toxins in either way. For instance, the too much well behavior and greeting towards foreigners by Indians resulted in ruling over them. For instance, the too much well behavior and greeting towards foreigners by Indians resulted in ruling over them. Ruling over Indians. Similarly, the desire to accumulate things or anything leads to the creating of several ailments in the body as well as in the mind. So it has become crystal clear that a greedy person can never ever be able to live a healthy life even if he takes nutritious food and expensive medicines. The second important thing is a greedy person either won't be able to bear a child, or even if a child comes, the child won't survive. Although many a times a person fail to bear a child due to some body related issues, but in maximum cases people face this situation due to greed or avarice. It is because a greedy person lives to eat. He doesn't eat to live. This line is important. He doesn't want money for comfort or happiness. Instead, he puts his happiness on stake. For him, the greatest desire is to accumulate money, and these thoughts get deeply rooted in the subconscious mind. Psychology students know it very well that all our work, habits, and success or failure depends on the belief system of our subconscious mind. Conscious mind in this situation doesn't have that much importance, and it is also possible that both the minds may have the contradictory thoughts. For example, there is immense hatred for a specific person in your conscience, okay? But for some reason you treat him like you care for them from your conscious mind. You help him to talk to him. You talk to him with courtesy. So you see, there is a contradiction in both the minds. But this type of situation generally happens with everyone. Everyone does it in their daily lives. Our desire only gets fulfilled when our conscience wants it. The same applies to have an offspring. When mind desires to have an offspring, he surely gets one. Rich people think of having a child from their conscious mind, but actually they worship their money. They don't want money for their child. They want a child to safeguard their money. They appoint their child as a janitor for their money so that their money will be in the safe hands even after their death. If these kind of persons still be blessed with an offspring, they don't spend their money in their education and career with an open heart. They do spend, but not with an open heart. But if somehow the fear of illness or death incorporates their mind, then they can spend not much, but some. Some greedy people even adopt a child for this purpose. If they really were kind-hearted, then why not they utilize this money in better things, in religious growth or some other developing areas? Like King Mahendra Pratap had given his state to the university in Vrindavan. In ancient times, there are many such examples. When the sages observed that the lack of offspring is due to the psychosis, then to make things work, the sages told the desirous person to do renunciation. Renunciation means tyag. Tenacity, tenacity. Yajna means yag, donations, etc. Then they were blessed with an offspring. There are many real life examples like Dilip used to feed cows, Dashrath used to do yajna, etc. In the scriptures, there is a unique yajna for getting a child. All these practices psychologically takes the person from greed to renunciation or sacrifice. There is a type of hidden emotion in greed. A greedy person always tries to hide his money, the safe place where it's hidden, and the strategy from which it has been earned. He worries more often or even every moment about the disclosure of what is hidden. Have you ever wondered why the tendency of aphrodisia is more in humans than other species? Do you mean aphrodisia I have covered in the previous parts? Aphrodisia means sexual pull or eroticism. The reason behind this is concealment, the act of hiding. Mating in a secluded place is of least importance for other species. That's why they don't feel unnatural attraction towards one another. Even today, in some tribes, those tribal males and females either dress partially or stay completely nude. It's their way of dressing and living, and they are completely comfortable with that. Though those people don't have that intense aphrodisia as in our culture, where people wear proper clothes. You see, in our culture, people wear proper clothes, but still, some boys are so bloody attracted to the girls. Unnatural attraction. So any type of tendency increases by hiding it more. Although the desire to eat or food hunger is more important than the hunger of sex, but it's not a taboo subject as it's never been a thing to hide. If a person feels hungry, he asks for food, but if he feels hunger for sex, he never asks for it openly from anyone, right? And this is the reason the more it's practiced in hideaway, the more taboo it has become. That's how the feelings related to hidden money makes one fearful and worry. And these two feelings are the enemy to the health. Truly said by Dadaji, who says wealth brings health. That's why it's said, give more, because it's the universal law. If you'll give more, you'll receive more. Why accumulating money and simultaneously the disease is brought about by fear and tension? These feelings decreases one's lifespan. By the way, nobody gives away their belongings or money casually. Neither they throws it away. But collecting or investing money for future use or for the arrangement, if for God's sake in some times of crisis, in the times of crisis, for being economically strong is also good. Earning with honesty and with integrity are things of immense pride and a sign of intelligence. But instead of thinking money as a useful thing, you totally indulge in it, then it is a greed or avarice. No doubt, money fulfills the necessary needs. But when money itself becomes a necessary thing in one's life, then it generates the kind of thirst which will never be quenched. That person's power of love comes back from everywhere and converges only on the one thing, and that thing is money. And then he starts loving money. Money becomes everything. When the life force concentrates on one thing, naturally it does not deviate elsewhere. Therefore, the hindrance in growth occurs in all the other life aspects. Money is all about providing comfort and pleasure, but due to the illusion, people start to think money as pleasure. We all know mirror reflects the same thing, what appears in front of it. When a tiny innocent bird appears in front of it, she thinks the mirror image of her own as real and fights with it. As a result, she hurts herself. A greedy person can neither provide good nutrition to his body nor his mind. he somehow fills his belly with food and burdens his mind with selfishness and anxiety. When they don't get sattvic food and rajasic plus tamasic food overburdens him, then those distressed person becomes unhealthy. It is well said, money has power. This saying is true in many fragments. People madly love money. Silver and copper has energy absorbing quality, and love is mind's most powerful energy flow. The coins made of silver and copper or any alloy, um, it stores much of the energy and energy particles of that powerful love energy flow. The coins are daily passed to thousands of people, and it keeps on absorbing little energy of the one who takes it, and gradually it becomes a magnet of energies and greatly impacts the brain. Have you seen little kids who hardly knows the importance of money? They too react in a greedy manner and try to take the coins. This power of attraction attracts the mind in itself and hinders the other pathways of growth and development. Thus, one who's rich keeps on becoming more greedy. Looking at these things scientifically, it's there on the scriptures. Instead of donating money, donating food, clothes, cow is etc. is told to be the best. And working on this issue, not accumulating unnecessary is given a position in grand fasting. It's a type of grand fasting. It's also a type of sadhana. The feelings of greed never goes in vain. They do impact negatively on the body. That's why donation of things and kindness are told to be the solution of this problem. According to Hindu mythology or scriptures, doing Panch Mahayagya is necessary, which means 5 grand yajnas. Okay? In Bhagavad Gita, God says, "He who eats without sharing is a thief. He who cooks for himself eats sins." Now, don't think it in a literal manner. God here is explaining to share your gifts with the world. If you only live for yourself and you don't help others, then you are just a burden on earth. You are not doing anything for Mother Earth. So just start giving. Give more, receive more. You must have observed in the top of tall buildings, the iron rod is fixed so to carry the extra charges of the thunder down to the earth, because if this won't be put there, then the tall building won't be able to survive or tolerate the thunder of lightning and will collapse. Similarly, the feeling of doing yajna is like the iron rod which saves one's life from collapsing. Just like earning regularly is important, likewise giving regularly also plays an important role. Even though a greedy also gives, but only to his family. It's not a giving, it's not a type of giving. It won't lift the burden off your shoulder. Giving selflessly is a genuine kind of donation. Whosoever lacks whatsoever thing and cannot attain it on its own, giving that specific thing to whom it concerns is a donation. Giving for social works or any social group service is the best kind of donation. In doing yajna, the variety of valuable contents in the mixture is burnt and is distributed among the Creator's uncountable creatures. That's why doing yajna is highly beneficial. If that much amount of money or material is given to a single person, then the greater purpose will be served. One who gives knowledge and wisdom, that is a type of Brahma Dan. Brahma is the creator god in Hinduism. One who does that, his next reincarnation happens in the human body, not in any other creatures or animals, because giving knowledge is receiving knowledge. What you give, you receive as a human body. As human body is the only body which has wisdom and knowledge. So if you give wisdom and knowledge, in the next reincarnation, you will be having a human body. And human body is a gift of God. So, You will be reincarnated in a human body. Stay kind with others. Save something from your needs and give it to others, because needs are infinite. If you spend 10 rupees, suppose, on yourself, then save 1 or 2 rupees to give to the needy. You'll see how that 1 or 2 rupees come back to you multifold. Because it's the universal law. You receive what you give. Universe is abundant, right? The satisfaction which one feels after giving, he won't be getting that much satisfaction even after wearing a diamond ring. Make a habit to give. Give what you have. Whatever you have, food, money, strength, knowledge, wisdom, but not in an egoistic way or in an haughty way, but with a selfless attitude, with respect, with love, and by thinking it as your responsibility. You are a global citizen. If you have any ailment, then start giving from today onwards. Whenever you sit to eat or eat anywhere outside your home, throw some pieces to a bird, if any, or give a piece to a dog sitting nearby you. Don't hush him away. If you find flour from which chapatis are made, I'm not talking about the flour, the rose or any other. Okay, the flour from which the chapatis are made, keep it in your pocket by wrapping it in a small piece of paper and sprinkle it wherever you find the ants' habitat. During summer days, keep a vessel of water outside your home for the birds, or you can hang it in the tree branch, because there the birds come more frequently, right? People who spend money in cigarettes and pan masala can save it and give it to the blind or beggars on the streets. Any clothes that you find it waste, or you can give it to the one who's needy in biting cold, or donate your old sweaters which you find out of fashion or you rejected. Don't stuff it in your almirah, free it. It also needs space. You can show the path to the ones who are lost. Give advice to the one who has forgot the things in his context. Give according to your state or condition, but do give. Just give. You'll feel a great sense of calm and peace by giving. The blessings from their heart will be showered upon you, and that love energy from them will project on the atoms of your mind and will nurture it as the treatment of Hindu lord of medicines Dhanvantri nurtures and cures the patient. Now, Indian people, go ask your mother who is Dhanvantri. She'll tell you. Now, when you give selflessly and with a generous heart, you also release your illness subconsciously. Once upon a time, there was a boy who was suffering from chronic fever. This is a great story. Listen it carefully. Once upon a time, there was a boy who was suffering from chronic fever. He daily used to visit the doctor for the medicines. One day, he found a poor woman agonizing from intense hunger. The boy felt deep mercy for her, and he gave all his money to the woman, the money from which he was about to buy the medicines, and returned home without keeping a single penny with him. That whole day he was indulged in the thoughts of immense satisfaction and happiness, and as a result, his months of illness had disappeared that day itself. Such a miracle. This applies to everyone. If you too can leave these two qualities of greed, which are stinginess and miserliness and accumulation, and leave space for kindness and sacrifice in your heart, then definitely your health is going to improve, and in due time you'll be reborn. Thanks for listening to my Supreme Guru's advice. Stay tuned for the upcoming video of attachment. Thank you.